Set this. All right, you're good.
Mr. STICKERMANIA from Louisville, Kentucky. February 3rd. Huh, I got it. 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As quick as I could do it. Worked at the grocery store most of the day. We got Sticker Kid. What do you say? Project. Got anything to say? Say something. Oh. Sticker granddaughter. We're gonna celebrate. This is the first celebration of the 60th anniversary of the Beatles coming to America. Forgot to say on my last live stream, Rachel's ghost is going to interview me. The actual day the Beatles came to America, February 7th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This will be my third interview with Rachel's ghost. We appreciate all the support she has given me. What do you say? What do you say? All right. Before I get into some other things, we got the 60th anniversary of the Beatles coming to America. These are the big things that happened. I Want to Hold Your Hand was released first in December at Christmas. Rush release because Washington, D.C. was playing it every hour. Capitol Records didn't know what to do. They wanted to put a cease and desist. Instead, they started pressing the records, and it was selling like hotcakes in New York City. You know what hotcakes are? She Loves You came out. Swan Records released it. They released it in 1963. It flopped. As soon as I Want to Hold Her Hand was going to the top of the charts, Swan Records released it again with this picture sleeve. Picture sleeve's in excellent condition. On January 10th, we had the first issue of Introducing the Beatles. This is the very first stereo issue, original, with the ads on the back. I've had 5 of these in my lifetime. They're really hard to get a hold of. And we got a Meet the Beatles, which came out January 20th, 1964. This is this very first stereo issue, number 3 from Scranton. And the record has no publishing credits after the titles on the label. The first 20,000 were released that way before they realized the mistake, and they had to start putting BMI and ASCAP after the titles. This one has none. The record's nice. The cover's kind of rough. I have another cover coming in the shrink that I'm gonna, from Scranton, number 3, that I'm gonna match with it next week. That's the original dark blue Capitol Records inner sleeve that came with the first pressing. And these came out shortly after that. The Remco dolls in the box. These are all soft-bodied dolls, all 4 of them. They have all the paint still on their instruments, and their hair is in perfect shape. And it's got the inserts in the box. George is the only one that still has the cellophane window on it. Just got that a couple days ago. All right, let me clear the table.
Tell a story while he's
I
dead.
don't know what you're saying.
Make a joke. Do a joke while he's clearing the table.
Why am I think there's a bunny hop?
Everybody, huh?
Because a bunny just like his phone.
Speaking of 7-inch picture sleeves, got this from my buddy Kevin of Kevin Records here in Louisville, Kentucky today. Almost a near mint picture sleeve of Help. I always wondered when I got this in the 60s, Why I'm Down, you could never find it on an album. And all the Capitol Records albums in the 60s didn't have I'm Down on there. So I had to play the B-side of this record to hear Paul doing his great Little Richard imitation. Got any questions in the peanut gallery? This is another picture sleeve I just got in. Another B-side.
Daniel Castillo asked, what are your predictions for the Grammys tomorrow?
Predictions for the Grammys. Outside of Taylor Swift, I don't know. I haven't paid too much attention. I think the Beatles could be up for a video of I'm Only Sleeping that came out last year.
I have a question
Yes.
about the peanut gallery.
The peanut gallery, yeah. What's your question on the peanut gallery?
What are the peanuts?
What are the peanuts?
What type of peanuts belong in the gallery?
Gallery, that's the people that are watching and messaging. You call them the peanut gallery. That's what Rachel's ghost called them.
I didn't know peanuts were humans.
Well, it's just a term. All right, back to this. This is a West Coast, 8 days a week. But this is another one of those great double-sided singles I didn't realize in the 60s. Because the more I play Beatles for Sale, I just love that B-side. I don't want to spoil the party. It's kind of dark, but that's the Beatles were changing their tune after the I Want to Hold Your Hand and She Loves You. This was late 1964. Nice shape, but it has the 98-cent price tag up there on the top. All right, we're going to do a little unboxing or unpackaging of a magazine that's supposed to be in perfect condition from the 1960s, and there's a little hint. This poster is in the magazine that I'm going to open it up. What is the name of the magazine this poster was in from 1968? It only lasted 1 year, this magazine. It had about maybe 10 issues. What magazine did this Yellow Submarine poster come from in 1968? Let's see who gets the first, who gets the correct answer. Anybody want to take a guess? I'm going to open up this package and it's supposed to be a perfect issue of that magazine. No, we're going to get you a safer.
Names magazine?
What is it?
Names?
Names? Let me look at. NIMS magazine, no. It's something to do with something that's on your face. There's a little hint. What's part of your face? You have
Skin.
You have a mouth. You have a nose.
I have glasses.
Yeah. What's behind your glasses?
I have my eyelashes.
Yeah. That's the hint of what the name of this magazine is. Scholarship. Or Secret Kid, please. I'm gonna get you a safety cutter next week.
Can I open those?
No, they're supposed to stay in there. I need to put them out. All right, here we go. Let's see if it's as great in condition as it looked like on the listing when I bought it.
What are you doing?
Yeah, put those down there. All right, here we go. What is the name of the magazine? John Lennon was on the cover of one of the issues. There's another hint. There you go. I magazine.
This is the butcher cover.
No, not the butcher cover. This was a couple years after the butcher cover. And gotta be real careful while I open it up. Boy, you got it wrapped in there tight.
Can I have the bubbles after?
Yeah, you can have the bubble. Let me get it out. Don't make too much of a racket. It's got a little bit of wear on the front, but it's got the original complimentary copy of Vibe magazine, and it says Pull Giant Plus Giant Full Color Mini Size Museum Size Poster Page, the Beatles and the Blue Minis. And there's that poster I just showed you, right in the middle, still attached.
Why does it look the same?
It is the same. That was already taken out. This is perfect condition. Got an article about Yellow Submarine. Let's see what the date is on this. I think it's covered up by the sticker. August 1968. I magazine. Didn't last very long. On the back you got a ad for Canada Dry Wink. Pretty nice, pretty nice. That's my unboxing for this video.
Pop a couple. Go. Why are you getting?
Pop your bubbles.
Yeah, they ain't working. I can't. Let him get into the next segment.
You need the bigger bubbles.
Yeah, them little ones ain't doing no good.
You want to go get those big bubbles that are in there?
No, just do this. Just fine.
All right, this is a little shout out to my mom that passed away a week ago, 90 years old. She was always made sure I did, was in dancing lessons and piano lessons, French lessons, and I was always in swimming class, the swim team. I was on the swim team when I was 6 years old. The first time I got a ribbon is when 4 of us were racing backstroke, and one of them got disqualified out of the 4 that were in the race, and so I got a ribbon for getting 3rd. 6 years old. But my mom, she made sure I was sitting down Sunday, February 9th at 7:30 on CBS to watch the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. I was a shy little 10-year-old, and when I was on the bus the next day, I hardly ever talked to girls, and the girls were all talking about seeing the Beatles, and they were asking me, "Did you see the Beatles last night on Ed Sullivan?" I said, "Yeah, I did." That kind of broke me out of my shell. So that's my shout out to my late mom. She was 90 years old.
How?
You wish you would get to be 90 years old?
How did you crack your shell?
I was just shy around the opposite sex. Kind of like you are, right? Except you're 12. You're gonna be a teenager in 3 weeks. All right, here's some new arrivals. Some biggies. Got this today. Haven't had a chance to play it. Working at the grocery store. A Rubber Soul. 1966 mono pressing. And this is the -5 Hazel Yarwood cut. One of the top 10 audiophile pressings of the Beatles to get in the world. Andrew from Polygram Auctions has a near mint copy of this on his auction site for $750. This one's in very good plus condition. His is near mint. But it's got the all-important -5. See the -5 in the dead wax right there? -5. And -5 on the B side. The 5th cutting of Rubber Soul, they were having so much trouble that -1 was a loud cut that everybody was returning because the record was skipping on cheap turntables. So then Harry T. Moss tried a -2, a -3, and a -4, and they weren't satisfied with that. And so they gave it to their classical mastering engineer, Hazel Yarwood. And this was, they used that cutting all the way to 1969. This is a 1966 with sold in the UK on the record label. Sold in the UK, subject to resale price conditions, see price list. That's how you know you got a United Kingdom pressing before 1968. And got another Holy Grail today. Another one in the top 10 audiophile pressings. An Abbey Road. Somebody put an Abbey Road on eBay, and they had it for under $100, and I just bought it right away because they said it was a UK first pressing. But when I got it, the cover's nice and the record is pretty much unplayed, but look at that apple on the back. I didn't even know that when I bought it. It's a misaligned apple, very first pressing of Abbey Road from September 1969 in the United Kingdom with a -2, -1 and the matrix. Look at that glossy laminated cover. The United States covers never look like that. You got the sewer grate down there on the bottom. No Her Majesty on the back. It said the end is the last song. But look at this record that came with it. No spindle hole wear. Beautiful shape. -2, -1. Haven't had a chance to play it yet. On my Thorns TD320 turntable. I'd say that's a pretty amazing buy right there. Got the original patents, 1969, inner sleeve from England. Some of them are released with the black inner sleeve. I've had them with the black inner sleeve also. That's a Holy Grail. One more Holy Grail I got in yesterday. Another butcher cover. You were asking about butcher covers. That's what you know about. You want to learn how to peel one. Nope.
It's going to be difficult.
Difficult? Yes, it's going to be difficult. So this is a East Coast Scranton peeled by Jim Hansen, the expert out there on the West Coast. Has no touch-ups, and a near mint, or I'd say excellent peel, because there's a little area there where you can see the horizontal glue lines. Number 3 from Scranton, East Coast. Nice spine, no seam splits. And it's got the complete trunk slick. I don't know how Jim does this. He must work on the edges first. As you can tell, the edges, he must pull off the edges first. I don't know with chemicals or what. But he gets it off. Perfect. Only area where you can see where he didn't get it all off, and one layer is down there in that corner.
Mr. STICKERMANIA.
And that's a COA from Mr. Jim Hansen that works for Blue Jay Way Galleries in Texas, or he used to. I don't know if he still does. Yeah, what's your question, Sick Kid?
It's about peeling the butcher cover.
All right, what's your question on peeling a butcher cover?
When are you going to show how to peel one?
We're going to do that hopefully in the next couple weeks. Because we have to I got to get it together with my son, because it's going to take a couple hours to film it, and then we're going to show the highlights of it. So that was done by Jim, the East Coast, and I have a West Coast that was done by Jim also, a number 6 Los Angeles cover. And if you look close, you can see the different tints. There's a purple hue color added to this East Coast, and you don't see it on the West Coast. The West Coast is more realistic and flesh colors, where this has got a little purple tint to it. All right, that's my segment on the butchers. Any question about those? Let's get this back in.
What you dance? Show me a dance. Show me it. See, you got a smile at least. Show a dance.
Do your little, you have one of your little moves? What's the song that you used to love to sing a couple years ago by Rick? What's the last name?
No, don't you say it. Don't say it.
I don't know it. That's just funny.
You used to sing it. You used to know all the words. Now you like Seventh Army Nation by the White Stripes. But what's the Rick's last name that he used to do this song and used to know all the words from the 80s?
I didn't know all the words.
Well, you knew most of them. You used to sing it all the time.
I only knew the famous ones.
All right, well, you started off.
No.
Huh. If you started off, I'll figure out who it is.
I'm never going to.
Yeah, you're not gonna. I'm gonna have to look that up. Never gonna give you up?
No.
Is that it?
No.
By Rick,
No.
Never Gonna Give You Up?
No.
Oh
That's-
yeah, I think
yeah.
I know what you're
He
saying.
used to sing it all the time. Boy, I figured it
I
out.
want to pop your finger.
Never gonna give you up.
No.
Sing a couple of lines from it. Nope. You remember you used to sing it all the time.
Well, live, I don't want to sing it. We're going to get copyrighted.
No, not if a kid sing it. You can get away with that.
Never Gonna Give You Up. I don't
No.
know if that
You
was
can
the
be
title.
singing some Beatles songs for us.
What's
while
up?
you sing.
In the peanut gallery, what's Rick's last name that sang Never Gonna Give You Up?
Astley.
Ashley. Well, you knew it. Rick Astley.
Yeah, I doubt
Man.
that's true.
Man,
She
you,
doesn't really pay attention.
you got that right away. Good job, Sticker Kid.
Maybe because I know it.
You knew it, didn't you? You were
No.
just hot. You were just being quiet about it. Good job, Sticker Kid. Rick Ashley. Ashley, that's the name. Ashley. All right, we got this in a couple days ago. A sealed, according to Mike from the In Groove. This is the best sounding mono pressing that you can get. 2014 Beatles in mono, Sgt. Pepper, factory sealed with a hype sticker made in Germany at Optimal. Pretty nice. I put some Beatles monos up and I sold today. I sold Help and I sold With the Beatles. And I sold the box that the mono box came in the shipping box. All right, we talked about that. We haven't talked about recording the Beatles. 2006 hardback book. It's one of those expensive Beatle books, hardback books besides Bruce Spicer's books. Comes in a slipcase. All the additional bonus materials are still sealed. And there's no flaws in the dust jacket on the book, Recording the Beatles. If you want to know everything that happened at Abbey Road, all the specifics, what microphones, what room, it's all in here. Alright, let's put that away. That's up for sale on my STICKERMANIA 2853 eBay store. And I have a stereo butcher cover, East Coast #2, that gentleman John from the East Coast got a hold of me the other day and sent it my way for me to peel it. $400 fee, guaranteed I can do a great job on it. For your money back. No questions?
Not yet.
Kind of a slow night.
What's everybody doing tonight? Taking a nap or going to bed early, getting ready? Oh, the Super Bowl's not tomorrow.
Yes, next weekend.
And they got 2 weeks in between. The Grammys, is that tomorrow night? Is the Grammys tomorrow night?
I think.
So usually on a Sunday night.
Can you stop?
Please stop.
Other new arrivals. Talk about the Stones and Led Zeppelin. One more Beatles. Kevin Records from here in Louisville gave me this to sell. This came part of the Tennessee estate sale that my son and I went down. And what did I say? I won 206 lots. That's the booklet that came with the concert for Bangladesh. Leon Russell, Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton didn't want to do it, but George talked him into doing it. And they even had Bob Dylan, first time he performed in a couple years. Bob Dylan and George Harrison. But he told me the records were pretty much unplayed. So I look at the dead wax, and it says L.H. Sterling in the dead wax. And I figured out right away what L.H. stands for. Lee Holka, the man that worked with Robert Ludwig at Sterling Sound. They kind of worked out of the same office. Lee Holka is another one of those great mastering engineers he was. Besides Doug Sachs that did Sticky Fingers for the Rolling Stones. You ever heard of the Rolling Stones? I don't think I showed this in the last live stream. I could have. Did I show this in the shipping box? Led Zeppelin, the complete BBC sessions in the shipping box from 2016. This is the last edition that has the bonus LP, 5 LPs, and 3 CDs. See if I can get this out here. It's got on the bonus LP. It's got additional, it's got communication breakdown, what is and what should never be, Dazed and Confused, White Summer, I Can't Quit You Baby, You Shook Me, and Sunshine Woman. Perfect condition in the shipping box. We're going to talk about the run. Well, let's talk about 1964, since we're talking about 60th anniversary. I made a list of the 5 songs from 1964. You can tell me what yours is. It gives me makes the hair on my back of my chin, what I got left, stand up every time I hear these 5 songs from 64. First you got Louie Louie by the Kingsmen. That might have been late 1963. And then you have the 2 Beatles songs, which I showed the picture sleeves for. I Want to Hold Your Hand and She Loves You. And then the next song from 1964 that just, I couldn't believe how good it was. I know it wasn't really Dave Clark doing the drums, but Glad All Over, what a song. And then late 1964, you had House of the Rising Sun by the Animals. Those 5 songs, I just can't believe how good those songs are. What do you think? And we're going to talk about the run of the best Led Zeppelin and Rolling Stones. Talk about Led Zeppelin first. The great first album by Led Zeppelin that came out in late 1968. This was discounted at $3.99 in the stores in 1969. First pressing of Led Zeppelin, the first album, Led Zeppelin 1. And it really sounds amazing. I've listened to Led Zeppelin 2 so much, but this Led Zeppelin 1, it's right up there with it. What a run their first 4 or 5 albums were. I don't have Led Zeppelin 3 with me. This is my Led Zeppelin 2 in the shrink, and it's a Near Mint RL SS for Sterling Sound out of Monarch, which is in LA, Monarch Records. And these are almost impossible to find because they were usually always played to death. Steve Westman did a live stream about the best audiophile pressings of all time in the rock era. And he did show this towards the end. But this is my pick, Led Zeppelin 2. I said I didn't have Led Zeppelin 3. Then he came out with Zosa, with Stairway to Heaven, 1971. Then he came out with House of the Holy, 1973. This is a UK pressing with the OBI, make it politically correct. And then the double album, 1975, Physical Graffiti. What a run Led Zeppelin had. And then we're going to the Rolling Stones. Put these away. That Led Zeppelin 2 is a $3,000 album. I think I better be careful with that. Somebody wanted to buy it the first day, but he didn't come through. Rolling Stones, they're a great run of albums. We didn't talk about that. Beatles never did it either.
You could do your rant on how people don't come through when they offer you something on eBay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had quite a few people through eBay that'll say, will you take this much for this? And I'll say, yeah, I will. And I send them an offer and then they don't buy it. Butchers, covers, and if you're going to make an offer, you need to honor your word through eBay. You okay, Sticker Kid? Rolling Stones. I just bought a perfect Exile on Main Street that was found in a estate sale where there were like 100 classic rock albums. They were all first presses and they were hardly ever played. And I got a hold of the Exile on Main Street 1972 Unipack pressing with the 12 postcards still attached. So here's the run of the Rolling Stones. 1968, when Brian Jones was getting kicked out of the band, Beggar's Banquet. 1969, Let It Bleed. This is a UK pressing. 1971, Sticky Fingers. This is a USA pressing, a second pressing where they pulled the zipper down because the zipper was leaving marks on sway and people were returning the record. It's a second pressing with the hype sticker. And like I said, I got Exile on coming from 1972. So in those 4 years with Mick Taylor, mostly in the band, they were on their roll. All right, one more Beatles memorabilia item I didn't show. From that collection where I sold the Beatles mascot doll, and what else did I get from them? The Beatles brunch bag. So I sold a brunch bag from 1965 that came out of this collection. I bought the 3 best pieces they had in condition, and then the mascot doll sold right away. 2 hours after I listed it for $500, they had the hand tag and the guitar. And this came from the same collection. 1966 disco case with the original hand tag. got a little bend in it. That's the real deal. The lock still works on it. It's got the original insert in the bottom. Disco case from 1966. You can buy all your 45s and stack them up, and they wouldn't be in near mint condition anymore if you put 45
Would you
7-inch
have done
record.
something like that back in the day if you had records? Would that been your little case too?
Can
You
I
like?
open that?
I figured you might like
Yeah.
the way that looks.
All right, be careful. Let's see you open it. You gotta
Okay,
twist it.
go over.
You gotta twist the top. Twist the top. Keep going. There you go. That's how you do it. Good job. Now see if you can lock it. A little harder. Good job. Way to go, Sticker Kid. All right, talk about my terrific scrapbook I bought that I showed in the last one. I've sold 3 sections of it already. I sold the Jerry and the Pacemaker autographs, and on the back was the flyer for Frank Zappa and the Mother's Invention from 1966 in LA. It was an all-night show that they put on. Somebody asked me that wanted to buy it. They said, is this stuck on the scrapbook page pretty good? I said, yeah. And then he bought it. I sent him an offer, and was it $244, and he bought it right away. He said, well, I'll just take a chance. And I sold the Ian Whitcomb program from 1966 at the Troubadour that was signed by Ian Whitcomb, and it had all the Troubadour music memorabilia, the matchbox and the tickets. And somebody wanted me to, an interested buyer wanted me to split it up and sell the signed Ian Whitcomb separately, but I said this has to all go together because on the other page it had an ad for Ian Whitcomb, but I sold it to another lady first thing in the morning. And the Batman sold earlier today. That's the one I sold for $88. They asked me, is that an original promo card from KRLA, the radio station in LA with the disc jockeys? I said, yeah, that's a special, unique trading card that shows the disc jockeys with Batman. And he bought it right away after that. You took pictures of this last night.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, I sold it already.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going out in the mail Monday. Haven't sold the 3 big ones yet. I'm going to show them to you one more time, because I'm impressed with them. You got the unused ticket to see the Beatles closed circuit in March 12th of 1964, their first February 11th concert in America at the Washington, D.C. Coliseum. And they had other footage from the Beach Boys and Leslie Gore before the Beatles came on and did their 30-minute performance. And then we have the, which I thought it was a sign, George Harrison, loved George Harrison, but an expert in England told me it was George Harrison's mother, Louise French, that signed these because the demand was so heavy. And she talked to all the fans, and she must have had a stack of these at her home, and she learned to duplicate George's autograph. There's a glossy photo showing Paul and George during a Hard Day's Night movie. Got an original ad for Chad and Jeremy down there. And we'll get into the Stones and Led Zeppelin. Original ad out of the LA newspaper, 1966, for the Rolling Stones at the Hollywood Bowl. Prices were $3, $4, $5, $6, and $7. Little story about prices of these concert tickets. My dad, that's passed away several years ago, He wanted to see the Beatles at the Indiana State Fair on September 3rd, and he said they were scalping them for over $100 for a $5 ticket outside the gates, and he thought that was too much. But say it was $150 in today's money, that would be $1,500. So. But then you could scalp tickets a little easier than you can now. If you try to do that right outside the gates today in Louisville, you'd be arrested. At the original ticket stub to see the Rolling Stones at the Hollywood Bowl, it was a $7 ticket. So they went with the most expensive ticket. It must have been right up front. And then the biggie to close out this live stream. How many Jimmy Page autographs exist when he was 22 years old in the Yardbirds? Not too many. Like my buddy from Kevin Records says there are probably Yardbird autographs from England, but there's very few in the United States, because United States, they might have just flown to LA so they could get on the Shindig or Hullabaloo and check out the scene. They were at the Troubadour in 1966. They did a press conference. So to get a set of original autographs from the Yardbirds from 66 when Jimmy Page was 22 is pretty amazing. I'll show you a close up of this. You can see every letter in Jimmy Page's name. All right there?
Yep.
And he looks like he, I don't know if he'd put a little heart there or what, but Jimmy and Page. Oh, that's the P there. But every letter and everything, every autograph of his from the 70s and 80s is just pretty much a scribble. So that's amazing original autograph from Jimmy Page when he was 2 years before Led Zeppelin. You also got Jim McCarty, the drummer there. On the back, you got Chris Drasia, the bass player. And I got the lead singer, Keith Ralph autograph. These are all on little stickers that were at the Troubadour. The only thing they could find to get autographs on. And that's the original promo glossy of the Yardbirds on Epic Records from 1966. Jeff Beck, the short one there, he didn't show up. He was ill at the time and didn't show up at many of the concerts or this press conference, and they fired him from the band 2 months later. But when Jeff Beck was playing lead guitar, Jimmy was playing rhythm guitar, and then when Jeff Beck stopped showing up, they had to put Jimmy on lead guitar, but that wasn't much of a stretch, I'd say. Not after you see Jimmy play lead guitar in Stairway to Heaven. Hasn't sold yet, but it will. All right, I think that is it for our live stream tonight. I think I covered everything, all the new arrivals. Oh, I didn't show the autographs. One more, Beatles autograph.
I'm not good. I know you're getting tired. You're doing proud. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it.
Got this one because the ticket that I have from Sweden doesn't show up very good in the live stream. Whole set of Beatle autographs from Roger Everson does the COA. He works for PSA DNA. The same Steve Grad, the same group that Steve Grad comes on Pawn Stars all the time and does his little to make sure it's real. But Roger Everson did this from 1960. I would say it has to be 63 because John Lennon, after they came to America, and they were hassled a little bit at the British Embassy on February 11th. And he told Brian Epstein, don't you ever put us in that position again. And then most all the autographs of the Beatles were done by the road managers or their secretaries. But this is the real deal. But John Lennon even inscribed this to Frank, best wishes. And when they came to America, John Lennon would never do that again. But he did on this. It must be from 1963. And you also, they got George Harrison, Ringo Starr, and Paul McCartney. We got that at the Great Indie Rock and Roll Auction a few months ago. All right, I hope I entertained you, and I hope you learned something about the 60th.
Brad Parnell said, sorry I got into a late basketball game, so went late.
All right, Brad Parnell. I checked out his ukulele show the other day. That's pretty nice. All right. Hope you learned something about the 60th anniversary of the Beatles coming to America. And check Rachel's Ghosts, February 7th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where she's going to interview me for at least an hour. See you later from Louisville. Everybody say bye.
Bye-bye.
Come on, Sticker Kid.
If you want to go, you got to say bye.
Come on. One bye.
We'll stay here until you say bye.
All right. Thanks a lot for checking us out. See you Wednesday.